Pittsburgh, PA, where we're here to give you all the news and updates from around all our Colt Club sports leagues. You can watch our broadcast right here on our Suite 301 page, as well as our Facebook pages and our YouTube channel.
Yeah, remember to like our Facebook pages, follow our Twitter accounts for all the latest news and media. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channels for videos from around our leagues and to watch previous episodes of Suite 301.
All right, Christian. Well, hey, you know what? March Madness is behind us, but April Anarchy starts this weekend as we got the basketball NCBBA National Championships, men and women's, kicking off this Friday. And so, without further ado, let's welcome to the set Matt Hazy, Director of Men's Basketball Operations. Matt, welcome.
Thank you. How's everyone?
Good. How's it feel to you to be on the eve of your quote-unquote Super Bowl?
Good. I'm excited, a little nervous, just making sure everything's ready, good to go. But yeah, very excited to get up there, see all the teams, meet everybody, and get this thing rolling.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. And it's a great field you've got put together for us up there in Erie. Why don't you take us through that bracket and how that laid out?
Yeah, absolutely. So UCLA is our number one overall seed, the winner of the Pacific Regional Tournament there. They will be matched up against the 8 seed Boston College, who is the at-large bid coming out of the New England Regional. They ended up losing on a buzzer beater to UConn in the championship there.
And Boston College was the team that made last year's national championship Final 8.
Yes, correct. And then we got Xavier in the 4 seed, the winner of the Great Lakes Regional, beating out Central Michigan there. We have Florida State, who they'll be going up against out of the South Atlantic.
Who did Florida State go through?
They beat Coastal Carolina in the championship.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Then we have UConn in the 3 spot, the winner of the New England Regional going up against James Madison in the 6, who was the winner of the Mid-Atlantic Regional, beating out Virginia Tech, who's been top 5 pretty much all season. So that was a nice upset to see. Yeah.
Pretty big upset there. Huh?
Yeah, and then we got the 2 seed Penn State. Making their second championship in a row here, going up against the Pacific at-large bid in USC Cardinal. So yeah, at-large bid.
Okay, there we go. James Madison, they're relatively new to the league, correct?
Last year, I believe, was their first year.
Okay.
So
well.
yeah, second.
I think they've been around. It's not like they're a new team, but
no, I know they've been around a long
Yep.
time.
Yep.
But thought they were relatively new to the league. All right, well, great field we've got there. 2 West Coast representatives. We got Florida State coming from all the way down there. This is going to be an awesome field. Can't wait to see play get underway on Friday, with the culmination of the national championship game on Sunday. Good stuff. Safe travels to those 8 teams as they make their descent upon Erie, Pennsylvania for this national championship. And I believe we're going to have a guest caller from that number 1 overall seed, UCLA. Let's welcome them to the set. We've got RJ, Gabriel, and Johnny from UCLA. How we doing, guys?
Good. How are you? Great.
Doing really good. Congratulations on the run thus far. You start the season with a dream, hosting the national championship trophy. What's it feel like to be checking the boxes on the way to trying to achieve that goal?
It's been a great feeling. I think when we first got the team together this year, that was kind of like one of the main things we had on our site. I mean, we had 3 things we wanted to accomplish this year: winning conference, winning the regional tournament. So we checked those 2 boxes off, and now we have the opportunity to go for a national championship. So it's been a great feeling, great vibe at practice and whatnot.
Hey guys, talk to us about your team. You're a first-year program here in the NCBBA, but how long have you guys been playing together? How long have you been a club at UCLA, and how did you find out about the NCBBA and what made you want to join?
So previously we were in NERSA. This is my 3rd year on the team, 4th, but we had COVID. So we found out from Alex, who's the coach at USC. He was talking to me about it last year when we hosted our SoCal Classic in the spring last year at UCLA. And so when we looked it up, it just seemed like much more organized. Merson really had like this like NCAA kind of feel for it with conferences and conference championship tournaments and then national championships. So that really like kind of drove us. We saw like the amount of East Coast teams would have access to play against as well. So that really kind of excited us to kind of join the league and whatnot. In terms of our team this year, we only have about 4 or 5 returners. We have like probably about 10 new guys, 11 new guys. So it's a lot of, we've been dealing, all year. Luckily, like the versatility our team has and whatnot, it's been really easy transition, really just playing with the guys. Best player in the country right here is also first year on the team as well. So, he makes our life very easy. One of the best perimeter players, if not the best in the country, in my opinion. So, they're just making it really easy leading us, every day through practice, through games. And, it's been a seamless transition.
Yeah, and Johnny, question for you here. As far as like the season goes and everything, what's kind of been like your motivation, this season, and then moving forward? You have those 4 guys who will be, leaving, going away. As far as recruiting new players and just improving the team moving forward.
Well, for me, it's sort of just been, trying to improve my game. I've sort of not been in basketball sort of like as much as I had since when I was in high school, but just by being around the guys and being around the team, it's allowed me to just grow as a player as well. And, with this being my first year on the team, like, even though it is my first year, I've known a lot of these guys since throughout my time here. So I played a lot of games with them before I was even on the team. So sort of that chemistry and that bond, it's been building for a while, and it's helped me to just grow to be the player that I am.
Now, guys, the Bruins have a rich history of college basketball. I mean, you're not a name that's going to sneak up on anybody. People are going to realize, hey, they're the number 1 seed. That's UCLA right there. They're going to come with a lot to the court. Have you done any research on Boston College, your opening round opponent, and what do you think your strengths are to match up against them?
Yeah, I've done a little bit, as much as I can. I've really scoured anywhere on the internet I could find any information, and where I really found success was I found their Twitter page where they would post like the recap of their games, and I noticed a certain name kept popping up, so I know that okay, he's gonna be like their guy. So we'll adjust accordingly, but like you guys said, we're the number 1 team, and all year we haven't been, so we've been really using that as kind of a boost and like motivation to be like, I believe we're the best, we just have to go prove it. So now that other people also think we're the best, we still have to go out there and prove it. And our strengths are just our big man play, and just all around just how deep we are as a team, how many good quality basketball players we have on this team. I really don't think anybody can match us up, like depth-wise. And I also believe we have the best front court in the nation. So we have to go out there and prove it.
Talk to us a little bit about your roster. Are you predominantly made up of Southern California guys, or do you have some kind of out-of-state guys also playing with you?
Yeah, so primarily Southern California. I'm actually from Northern California. I know we have some guys from Oregon, another Northern California, Michigan. So there's a wide array of people, one from New York. So, but it's been really cool. We have such a great group. Everybody likes each other, which is very important when you're building a team. So we're gonna hang out all together later tonight. So just the camaraderie of this team, it really makes it enjoyable.
Have you found that, bringing in, a guy from New York, a guy from Michigan, you get up further up the coast into Oregon, did you find that, guys played a different style of basketball coming from a kind of a different high school system? And did that help, hinder? Did you have to take some time to all gel, or did it enhance with, bringing some new ideas to how the UCLA Bruins of 2023 are going to play their game?
Yeah, I don't know, I would say very different, but they do bring certain things that we don't have, whether that be extra shooting, whether that be rebounding, defense. So bringing all of these guys really it almost feels like we almost have no holes, as there's everybody in our team can do something to help us. And so we go 16 deep with guys that can actually play and really get in there and contribute. Like, there's no let off between everybody. So I think having players from different areas that have went through different systems really helps us gel all together.
Outstanding.
And I always like to hear the background of our players, and I'm assuming all three of you played high school basketball, but did you guys have offers from smaller schools? How did you end up, I guess, with the UCLA club basketball team?
I guess I'll go first. So coming out of high school, I was looking at a couple of JUCOs in San Diego. San Diego City College was one I was looking at. I was also looking at going to Laverne as well. And then kind of just scouring to see, what schools I can maybe walk on at, some other B3s and whatnot. But when it came down to it, UCLA is such a great school, so I ended up coming here. And I had a friend who, from my high school, who actually already went.
Learning about our players, and everybody's got a good backstory, something to learn about how their journey to here. So, gentlemen, do we have anything else for them?
No.
All right, gentlemen, it's been great having you on the show. We wish you safe travels later this week. Look forward to meeting you up in Erie. Good luck to you, and can't wait to see. And and you'll even when you're in there, you'll be able to go back and see our baseball championships, our football championship. It's all in there, past shows and so forth. You're not just subscribing to our games; that you get the whole VSN network of live college sports. I think that's that on that. Back to Matt. Let's talk a little bit about new teams that we've got coming on board already for next year.
Yeah, so we have 3 new teams for next year already. These are kind of like the first 3 who are official. So we have Bates College. We have Thomas Aquinas College in the New England region. And we'll have Ferris State, I believe, out in our Great Lakes area.
All right,
nice.
Great.
So, yeah, good start there. And,
So I assume more to come over the summer. We expect
absolutely.
to be adding quite a few more names to that list, right?
For sure.
All right, good stuff. How about housekeeping items? Anything else the men's basketball teams can be working on right now?
Just, renewal LPAs, getting those in for next season, getting that process started before you go away for the summer. That's just one less thing off your list to do whenever you get back in the fall. All-American nominations, get those into me. Everybody has good players, so we're always looking for more of those as well.
And the number one thing there is you have to nominate. We don't really know who had tremendous standout seasons. We don't know what positions they played. You got to nominate them, put them on our radar. Hey, here's maybe you've got 5 guys that you want to nominate. Maybe you've got 2 that you were like, these guys were absolute studs. If you don't put them on the radar, they're not even looked at for consideration. So take the time, send the email, nominate your guys, get them put on the list so that they get the attention they deserve and possibly win an award that they can brag about for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
And also build some exposure for your program too, right?
Absolutely.
If you're building a program and you can say, hey, we had a first teamer and a third teamer nationally, that's going to say something for your program when you go to your student involvement fairs next year and start recruiting more talent off campus. So. All right. The LPAs, absolutely got to get those in on time because we spend a lot of time in the summer going through conference realignment. Okay, one conference has grown to 12 teams. We can't take 12. We got to move someone here, move someone there. You don't want to be left out of those conversations by not having your LPA in. So definitely get that turned in on time. All right, Matt, thank you very much. We'll let you get back to work. We know you got a busy day getting prepped for our travel day on Thursday as we go head up to Erie for setup. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, well, since we're on the basketball front, let's go right to
Alec
Verhoff, Director of Women's Basketball Operations, coming to us for the show.
What's up,
guys?
Alec?
Can you hear me?
Crystal clear, man. That headset's baller.
You look good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're not in your usual corner.
It's because I'm in a whole new house, Sandy.
Oh, that's
wow.
right. Congratulations. You want to give us a
Thank you,
little tour?
Yeah, maybe some other time.
Okay. All right. We'll stick to the script. It's not in the script to get a house tour with Alec Verhoff and
Not this month.
New home makeover.
Alec, we just got through the men's basketball bracket, talked with the guys from UCLA. Why don't you take us through the women's bracket That's we're going to be tipping off on Friday. Why don't you take us through the matchups, first round matchups?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a lot of really good matchups in the tournament this year. I'm super excited. We've got some big shoes to fill from last year, but the first matchup we have. So going in order of game times here, at noon on Friday, we've got the number 4 or 5 seed matchup, Penn State and SIUE. Both of those very good teams. Both of them were here last year, actually. And then after that, we go at 2:30. We've got Nevada and UMass. Both of those are new teams for the tournament. Nevada is actually a brand new club basketball team as well as a brand new NCBBA team. So very excited that they've made it this far. Then we go to the 2-7 matchup with Boston College and Villanova. Boston College, they're our reigning national champions, came in as the number 2 seed this year. So, very excited to see if they can repeat the championship from last year. And then we have the 1-8 matchup, which is Ohio State and Grand Valley State. That's how we will finish off the first day of games. It's actually a rematch of the regional championship. So we'll see if Grand Valley can get their revenge.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the way that bracket's lining up, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but championship game, you see that 1 versus number 2.
Familiar foes.
Repeat from last year. So, but again, a lot of basketball before that can be played, and a lot of good matchups. But certainly an exciting field of teams, a lot of new teams, a lot of returners. So it should be really, really exciting. And I hope we can talk to our number 1 seed overall, Ohio State's Riley Wilson and Chloe Antigo. Are they with us?
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Good.
You guys excited?
Yep. The whole team is really excited.
Well, talk to us about you got your matchup against Grand Valley State. You got the 7:00 game. Obviously, you probably have a chip on your shoulder from last year. I know it was a tough loss for Ohio State, losing to Boston College. But what do you know about your first round matchup against Grand Valley State? Or your opponent, I should say.
We're really excited to play them again, just because I feel like it's always a really good competition. They're a really scrappy team, and they give us really good competition, and it's just really exciting to get to play them again. And it feels like we get to prove ourselves again.
Okay. Have you entered this season with any thoughts on how last season ended? I mean, you had a great season, and you finished so close to being where you wanted to be, hosting that trophy at center court. How did that impact your motivation rolling into this season to try to get back there and take that next step?
I would say it gave us a little bit of a chip on our shoulder coming in, especially to this national tournament. We definitely have worked towards finishing strong, I would say, and I think it's something we've been working on all season. Is every game scenario we practice what different scenarios are like and stuff. So I think we're going to be more prepared this year.
What is Coach Eddie? Sorry, go ahead.
To lose, come that close when we don't want to feel that way again. So we've got some motivation coming in again this year.
What has Coach Eddie been preaching to you guys?
One game at a time. We
Yeah.
can't skip straight to the last game. We have 3 games that we have to win, so we can't get ahead of ourselves.
It's got to be tough, looking at that bracket, and the experts, if you're picking all the favorites, would put Ohio State and Boston College in the national title game. So it's got to be tough to look down that board and see, hey, we got a shot at our redemption. But you can't overlook Grand Valley. You can't overlook Penn State SIUE. How do you stay focused on that task at hand and not get too excited about that potential BC matchup and redemption?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Stump them.
I think for each game, we kind of have a little bit of history with each team, and it's each game, leading up, say it is Grand Valley, then Penn State, then Boston, with Grand Valley being in the regional, and then we played Penn State earlier in the season, and we had a little bit of it was a really fun game there too. There was a lot of competition. So like looking ahead, I think each game we're so excited to play the next that I think it'll help us push through the game before.
SIUE had a nice performance at last year's national championship too, so it's interesting to see what they can bring to the table here. Any teams on that final 8 that make you scratch your head and wonder? I wonder what they're like. You know, Nevada Reno being a brand new team to the organization, a brand new team in existence. Is there somebody out there that you'd like to maybe catch up with if it's not BC in a title game?
I'd like to see more on the Reno team. I think.
Yeah, excited to see what that region brings.
Yeah.
Right. West Coast basketball, is it different? Is it something different you got to adjust to? But we'll get to see it on the court on Friday.
Yes.
That's the best part of it all. Talk to us about this year's Buckeyes. Have we lost anybody important from last year? Have we picked up anybody new that we should have on our radar?
I think we lost a lot of important players, and I think we had really big shoes to fill, and I think all the girls have done a really good job filling those shoes. I say we're pretty young. We have one senior, and then most of us are freshman, sophomore, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty young, but I think that all of our talent will definitely help us out again this year. So I would say we lost some, but we definitely had some people step up and fill in those spots too.
Outstanding. Well, ladies, we wish you luck. Safe travels this weekend as we see you in Erie. I will see you there. I'll be doing the PA announcing at the Women's Championship again, so I'll see you courtside. Looking forward to it. Travel safe. Good luck. And don't forget, it's always fine in the sunshine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You didn't.
Did I?
You didn't see the
sign.
The sign in the back of on the wall in the back of their video.
Got it. Got it now.
All right.
I like it.
We're gonna. Oh, what do we got? We're back to. I forgot Alex on here. Alec, what's going on?
I thought that was just an adorable little catchphrase that you came up with. I didn't.
Yeah, I was like, you're screwing up the it's a game, have fun catchphrase. Where is this coming from? And then I was like, was that a Ohio State?
It was on the
phrase?
wall.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
Alec, why don't you take us through some housekeeping items that the women's basketball teams need to be working on this week, this month, as the season comes winding down?
Yeah, I mean, I would say similar things to what Matt was talking about. Get those renewal LPAs in. You know, like he said, it's easier to get it done while you're on campus now than it is over the summer, or whenever you get back in the fall and you're getting into the swing of classes and everything. Also, All-American forms, get those sent in. They've been trickling in. Something we'd definitely like to be better about this year is to have more nominations. And again, like you were saying, we don't actually take anybody into account unless they're nominated. So you have to nominate those players in order to get that recognition. But yeah, I mean, I think those are really the two big things at this point in the season.
And I guess that goes. If you're a star player out there watching this show, when you're done here, text your president and be like, "Hey, you nominated me, right? Right? Make sure you throw my name into the league. Let them know. Let them know I'm out here." So,
or if he is the president, he just needs to
we're talking
nominate himself.
But yes.
Sorry.
Yes. So, all right, put him on the list. So, all right, Alec. Hey, safe travels to you too. I know you're hitting the airplane tomorrow, right?
Yep, tomorrow morning.
All right, we will see you sometime tomorrow night, and looking forward to getting these basketball championships underway come Friday. So, good stuff. All right, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back shortly.
The Game is the official headwear sponsor for Cold Club Sports. They offer our team's quality headwear, such as hats, visors, boonies, and beanies for a great low price. All items are customizable to meet our team's needs. Contact Felicia.Battaglia at coldclubsports.com for all of your headwear needs.
Rawlings is the proud uniform, equipment, and ball sponsor of the National Club Baseball and Softball Associations. Teams receive up to 45% off on all their orders. For more information, including catalogs and price quotes, contact our front office today.
All right, we're back, and we are with basketball in the rearview mirror as those guys are getting ready for the national championship. Let's move on to some baseball updates, and we welcome to the set Jimmy Henderson, Director of Division II Baseball Operations.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a bright shirt you got on there.
I didn't get the memo. I think first up we have our top 20s.
All right, yeah, take us through that. What do we got?
Looking here, starting with Division I. A lot of familiar faces. Rounding out the top 5, we got Utah State, Grand Canyon, Cal Poly, Penn State, and Central Florida. And something I wanted to point out, too. At 6 and 7, you see both Michigan and Texas A&M getting a first-place vote, and then all the way at 15, Connecticut getting a first-place vote. So I think that just speaks to the competitive balance of the league right now. There's a whole bunch of teams that receive votes. So really, it's just a wide-open playing field.
I think, Grand Canyon made a big jump this week. In this last poll, jumping from 10 to 2. Cal Poly slipped, and I think large part because they haven't played much baseball.
Yeah.
Right? They haven't. I think the voters were finally like, hey, you're in California. It's now April. Like, why haven't you played more baseball? We're not going to give you as much credit for last season as we had been because you haven't played much yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on. Because I think at the time this poll came out, they were still undefeated, but they just hadn't.
They were like 3-0.
Exactly. Yeah, they haven't been playing as many games as everyone else has. So hopefully they're finding a way to get those games in. I know California has had a bit of uncharacteristic weather issues this year, but you got to find a way.
Absolutely. Auburn making a big jump from not ranked to number 11 there.
Illinois State too.
Yeah. And Florida State, I think that's an interesting one. They got beat by Florida Gulf, the reigning champion, Florida State, ranked number 1 a few weeks ago. Got upset badly by Florida Gulf Coast. I think they got swept. Swept. Often when that happens, you know what you see? You see a team crumble and kind of the season drifts away from them. But I've seen Florida State come back and start to win against some bigger opponents now, getting back into the top 20, and maybe they're going to be able to make a run. I think they need some luck. I don't think they control their destiny to win their conference, but if they can get themselves back into the number 2 spot, maybe they can get themselves in a large bid, the regionals. So nice to see those guys not giving up on that season and fight until the bitter end. So we got a new poll coming out this week too, right?
Tomorrow,
Yep.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's all the same.
It is all the same.
So moving on to Division II. This poll got released last week, rounding out the top 5. Grand Canyon, Ohio State, Georgia Southern, Syracuse, Central Florida. Not quite as much as far as first place votes go. It's all Grand Canyon, Ohio State, and Ohio State's starting to close the gap there. Grand Canyon's been wire to wire this year, ever since winning the championship last year. But Ohio State sits at, I want to say 14-0 or 14-1, somewhere right around there.
And who's that in the 7th spot?
Houston Downtown. They made a huge jump. They're 14-1. Them and Arlington Baptist we'll talk about here in a couple minutes. A big conference matchup going down in the Great American South. Both of those teams have clinched, but could mean something for regional seeding.
All right, good stuff. Arkansas, top 20. There we go.
Arkansas is in the top 20. Them, Missouri S&T, and Washington St. Louis. It's kind of a 3-horse race for 2 spots with Washington St. Louis in the driver's seat, not quite clinched yet. But big game for Arkansas and Missouri S&T coming up next weekend to perhaps decide who's going to go.
I'm looking at Syracuse and Arkansas there, and I think those are teams that probably have some Division I baseball in their future at some point down the road.
Yeah.
Possibly West Virginia, too. Your alma mater.
Yeah, they're having a good year. And shout out to Syracuse, new team this year, and they've been in that 4 spot pretty much the whole year. So I know they have their eyes on regionals, so it's good to see a new team come in and just have success.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Do you concur?
I concur.
All right.
We can move on to Division III. Rounding out the top 5, Oakland Navy, Maine, George Washington, and Rhode Island. You can see Winona State there made a jump from being not ranked all the way up to number 7. Oakland receiving 4 of the 5 available first-place votes, and I think the one that Maine got might have been from me.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a Micheletti question.
Yeah, it is a Micheletti question. All right, cool. Rhode Island, George Washington. What happened with George Washington that they slipped out of one? They drop a series.
They did, and I think it was to George Mason, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. Exciting stuff. Hey. All right.
We can move on to key matchups here.
Yeah.
Starting in D1, so every single one of these matchups, the winner of the series will be in the driver's seat as far as their conference goes. SUNY Binghamton and Penn State in the North Atlantic West, currently sitting at 1 and 2. Auburn, Alabama in the Gulf Coast East. That one's somewhat of a three-horse race. Those two and LSU are all at the top of the standings there, but I don't know what each team has left. But as far as Auburn, Alabama goes, winner of that series will be in control. Texas A&M and Texas, same thing. That's the Gulf Coast South. Central Florida, Florida State in the South Atlantic South. Winners in the driver's seat, so they may control their own destiny still.
With those 3 losses all coming to Florida Gulf Coast.
All 3 losses came to Florida Gulf Coast, yep. I don't know what Central Florida's record is off the top of my head.
10 and 2.
Oh, yeah, right there. So, yeah, winner of that series will be back. So Florida State does control their own destiny.
Florida Gulf Coast is 9 and 3 as well. Obviously has the head-to-head over Florida State. So Florida Gulf Coast has got another another conference series out there with somebody. I'm not sure who that is. But you know what? I want to circle on that screen if I had a John Madden Magic Pen where you get like a whiteboard. I'd circle that South Carolina. The reason I say that, they were having, before COVID hit, they were having an unbelievable season. Like they were rocking and rolling, better than they've ever played in their lives. And COVID shut them down, and they got burned by that. And I'm wonder if they're finally recovered, rebuilt, and climbing back, and that could be a team that gets hot late and just runs.
Yeah,
could be exciting to watch them.
I think as a whole, their program must be sitting in a good spot because we can see there the Division I teams 8-1, their Division II teams in the mix as well.
Strong program down there, the Gamecocks.
Yeah, then rounded up, Western Washington and Oregon in the Northern Pacific West, same thing. Winner, whoever comes out of that series, takes 2 of 3, or all 3 will be in the driver's seat.
All right, exciting stuff. What do we got in the D2 matchups coming up?
D2.
These matchups are all this weekend coming up, right?
Mm-hmm, yep. Touched on it a little bit earlier. Houston Downtown and Arlington Baptist, a nice top 10 matchup in the Great American South. Both teams have clinched their regional spot, but again, regional seeding could come into play here.
They're not in the same conference?
They are. It's a two conference.
Oh, so they've clinched 1 and 2.
They've clinched 1 and 2.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
This is determined who's 1 and who's 2.
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha.
High Point and Craven in the Dixie North. Craven is going to need all 3 of those, but that's a rivalry there. Craven's solid program, High Point as well, from a 2022 World Series team, so that's a big one. And then Eastern Michigan, Grand Valley State, same thing. Winner of this series will be in the driver's seat in their conference and could perhaps clinch.
Got to see Grand Valley down in Panama City Beach at Swing in the Spring. Quality program there, quality team.
Yeah, they're having a great year. They're sitting at 14 or 15-1 overall.
Nice. Oh, exciting weekend. What do we got on the D3 side?
D3, Navy and George Washington in the District 2 South. Same theme. Winner of that series will be in the driver's seat. And then Minnesota Duluth and Milwaukee School of Engineering. That conference is really tight. You can see the records there are what they are, and the leader is 7-5. So somebody takes all 3 here, they will be in the driver's seat.
So somehow Duluth scored a tie somewhere.
Somehow Duluth scored a tie.
And could potentially, with a sweep,
be a half game ahead.
Be a half game ahead
Hey.
Because of the tie. That's wild. Wild stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Better than a loss.
Better than a loss, yeah. Exactly. All right.
I think next up we'll have playoff clinchers. Division I looks like we only have 3 so far. The Great Lakes North, returning World Series team, University of Michigan. The SoPac South, Grand Canyon has clinched, and the North Atlantic East, St. Joe's.
All right.
I think the former 2, I know Grand Canyon was, and I think St. Joe's was a regional team last year as well.
Michigan went to the World Series.
Yeah, they went to the World Series.
So they were a regional team too.
Yeah.
We can move on. Division II side, New England East, University of New Hampshire, New Penn South, Old Dominion. And I want to shout them out for a second here. This is their second year in the league. So good to see them find success early and make it to regionals.
You talking about ODU?
Yeah.
Another good team down in Panama City Beach.
New Penn West, Ohio State Division II, frequent flyer for the postseason. Rocky Mountain Central, the Air Force Academy, Dixie South, Central Florida. And somebody that got left out, and this was on me, I did not report it in time, the Dixie Central has been clinched as well by Georgia Southern.
Okay. Was Georgia Southern a playoff team last year?
I want to say yes, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Air Force, big things coming out of Air Force. I'm expecting them to have quite a 2023 season.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Well, not too long ago, I know they made the World Series. Last year fell short, but historically a pretty good program.
Yeah. I think that's a team that could also potentially be a D1 candidate down the road.
Yep.
So, all right, how about the D3? Anybody clinching in D3 yet? There we go.
We have two, the District 3 East, Kent State, and District 3 West, Oakland.
Nice. So they already know who they're matching up against in the playoffs, right?
Looks like each other.
Yeah, looks like each other. They got a head start. They get that knocked out early.
Yeah, must be what's going down in Indiana.
Hammond.
Yeah.
Yes. Good stuff. Well, Jimmy, thank you for taking us through those updates. How about on the housekeeping side of things? What do these baseball teams need to be working on?
While we're on the topic of playoffs, if you've clinched, make sure you're booking your hotels, getting all your travel accommodations together. Looking towards next season, you should have received your league participation agreements, either returning or for the new teams that I've been speaking with. Make sure you get those in sooner rather than later so you can get your spot. The deadline for those is June 1st, and it's much easier to get that paperwork in while you are still in school and have easy access to your administration.
All right. That's it?
That's all I got.
That's all he's got. All right, Jimmy, thank you for the good update. Keep up the hard work. And we're going to move on to some softball updates now. And nobody better to talk to about softball than the VP of Softball Operations, the one and only Christian Gray Smith.
Thank you. Yes, obviously, like basketball and baseball for that matter, really this upcoming weekend's the last weekend of the regular season, so a lot of big matchups, a lot of conferences still up for grabs. But before we get into the key matchups and things like that, talk about the top 20 that came out earlier this month, first Thursday in April. The big news on this top 20 front is we finally have a new number one. Virginia Tech has sat at number one since the preseason poll in the fall. Sacred Heart Red finally makes their debut at number one. Their unblemished record, conference record, overall record, 15-0, and I believe they're 25-0 overall. Really, really good, well-run program run by Ray up at Sacred Heart. Virginia Tech slips to number 3, and that's just due in part they dropped 2 non-conference series to NC State and North Carolina. But they are perfect in conference. They have clinched a spot in the postseason. So I don't know if you can put a ton of stock into those non-conference losses, but they're still a power in the Mid-Atlantic North, at the South Conference, and will be in the postseason. But Wisconsin at that number 2 spot, and then we have Air Force and Georgia rounding out the top 5. We will have a new top 20 pool coming out at the beginning of May, which will factor into the World Series seeding. It'll have a 25% weight, so we'll have that new one come out at the beginning of May, and at the beginning of May we will hopefully know all 16 World Series teams. So look out for the top 20, Rawlings top 20 coming out May. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but that first Thursday in May. Some big key matchups, as I talked about earlier. This is our you see a lot on the screen. This upcoming weekend is the final weekend of the regular season, and there are quite a few conferences still up for grabs. Number 6, Michigan State taking on Eastern Michigan. Last weekend, Michigan State lost 2-3 to Michigan in a big conference matchup. They are still atop the standings, so if they sweep Eastern Michigan, they will be the conference champion. If they lose one of those games, they will. University of Michigan will take the top spot in the conference. Illinois State. I believe Illinois just needs to win one of those games, and they will be conference champ. Grand Valley and Central Michigan both are undefeated in conference and going up against each other. Whoever takes that series, wins that series, will be the conference champion. Whoever loses it will finish second, so they will be up for an at-large bid. Maryland, James Madison. Maryland, it's an at-large bid consideration. Navy has already clinched that conference, but Maryland has James Madison and another team. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. They're playing 6 games this weekend, and depending on how they do that weekend, they can boost their resume for that at-large bid. Pitt playing Slippery Rock this Friday night. They were supposed to play this past weekend. It got rained out, but they're going to play Friday night under the lights in Slippery Rock. And then either Saturday or Sunday, they are hosting Kent State. Pitt's 8-1. So depending on how they finish those 6 games, they can put a stamp on it and win the conference. Number 8, Iowa at Kansas. Iowa, who's been kind of a surprise team. They went down to spring training and played some big opponents. Illinois. There's another one escaping me that was who? Florida State. Beat both of them down there, and they make a big jump in the top 20 pool, undefeated in conference, and then they play Iowa State, and they drop 2-3 to Iowa State. So this series, I believe if Iowa has to sweep Kansas to win the conference, if not, Iowa State wins. And then Binghamton at Cornell. Cornell needs to win, I believe, 1 or 2 of those games to win the conference. And then down in the West, a lot of big games. Georgia at South Carolina, and then Clemson at Tennessee, and then Clemson's also playing at North Georgia. Clemson last weekend took 2-3 from Georgia, which was huge, but Georgia is still in the driver's seat. So a lot of big games coming up, a lot on the line. So really excited and hoping for some good weather. And we'll have all the playoff spots buttoned up by Sunday night. Regional brackets completed hopefully by Sunday night. If not, latest will be Monday morning, depending on when we can get scores. But all those teams on those lists know they need to text their regional directors to get the scores posted as soon as possible. So hopefully have all those brackets out Sunday night.
Outstanding. Exciting stuff.
Yes.
And there are a bunch of teams that have clinched already.
Yes. Take
us through that list.
We have, these are just look, there's 8 on the screen. These are just the 8 from last week. There's more than just 8. There's, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but there's more than just, these are just since the last episode. Notre Dame, Arlington Baptist, Naval Academy, Virginia Tech, Delaware, NC State, Florida State, and Northern Arizona have all clinched their respective conferences and will be moving on to the postseason. But like I said, they're joining other programs that have also clinched. And I meant to see take note of how many conferences are still up for grabs, but I think it's 5 or 6 that are still left. But congratulations to all those teams for winning their respective conferences, and good luck to them at their regional tournament.
All right, and final question for you. What kind of housekeeping items do the softball teams need to be worrying about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to be cutting the league from 152 teams. After this weekend, we'll have 32 competing. So for those teams that aren't concentrating on postseason softball after Sunday night, there's a lot of paperwork, and this goes for the postseason teams as well. But LPAs, reg forms, those have been emailed out to everybody. Like the basketball guys and baseball. Jimmy said on baseball, it's easier to get signatures from faculty advisors in 3D. So while you're on campus, try and get those signatures before you leave. So those are out. All-American forms have been sent out. Nomination forms have been sent out to teams. Academic All-American nomination forms have been sent out to teams. All-American forms are due May 6th, I believe, and then the academic All-Americans aren't due until later in the month, May 26th, I want to say. So those are all in your inbox. We'll be having more information coming out in regards to the Sportsmanship Award that we do every year. So that will be in your inbox in the next couple weeks. So long story short, there's quite a bit of important items in your inbox now and in the coming days and weeks. So be sure to check your emails regularly to make sure that you have those and you're aware of those. Other than that, continue following the regional and World Series pages, because those are going to be updated almost on a daily basis. That's about it. That's all we have going on right now.
That's it?
Yeah,
No,
not a lot.
So one of the things I wanted to just key on is, you talked about getting the LPAs in. This is going to be a very different offseason for the NCSA because we have Division II coming on board next year. So we really need to get through. We need the LPAs early. If you're a team that wants to be in D2, fire that out there. We might come knocking on your doors, making the suggestion like, hey, we'd like to move you down. Here's why. Here's the reasons. We think you're going to have a better experience there. Things like that. Maybe the teams that are going to be in your area are going to be a better fit for you at the D2, whatnot. But getting those LPAs in early is going to be a big piece of that puzzle, because it's going to be a much more elaborate off season for us with navigating the start of Division II next year. So which is happening, and we're excited about it. And it's going to make the league.
It's buzzing.
Better all over the place.
Yeah, it's certainly got a lot of excitement across the league, and we have a team. Wisconsin is starting a second team. They have a D1 in. They're starting a D2 team. Teams have reached out and have already requested to move down to Division II. So it's a really, really exciting time for the NCSA, and like Sandy said, getting that paperwork in, because if you don't have your paperwork in, we're, basically counting you out. So getting in early so that we know what to, how to realign, how to make conferences, who's in D1, who's in D2. We need that paperwork. So it helps us out a ton. So please get that in ASAP.
All right. Well, that's going to be our show for this month. We appreciate you tuning in. And the next episode of Suite 301. Oh, wait, that's your job.
Yeah.
You
want to read the other stuff on your script?
Sorry. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Suite 301. As always, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Also, remember to tune into the NCBBA Men's National Championship Tournament this weekend, streaming on Varsity Sports Now.
Our next episode is going to be, Tuesday, May 2nd at 3:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Facebook Live. Join us then to catch up on everything that's happening around Colt Club Sports.
And don't forget, it's a game.
Have fun.